Hi, and welcome to the Dojo. I'm Grandmaster Ray Such, a Grandmaster in Taekwondo and Hapkido, and I'm your host of this show. You're going to see on this episode some interviews from the Circle of Masters. Actually, it's going to be probably a couple of our last interviews for that event that was held here in Cleveland, Ohio. I was also fortunate enough this week to be at the King Cobra Karate Open in Erie, Pennsylvania, where they had international competition. Teams from Canada, US, and Great Britain were competing and fighting, and a lot of great footage, which is going to be coming up on our next shows. So right now, I'd like to take you to Grandmaster Charles Brown, who we call Charlie Brown. And he's a master in Tang Soo Do, and this is his interview.
This is Christina Michelle with the Dojo here at the International Circle of Masters. And right now I'm talking with Charles Brown. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
If you want to start off just by telling us a little bit about who you are in the martial arts, what your style is.
Okay, well, I'm a 7th degree black belt in Tang Soo Do. I started back in 1970 under Tom Benich. I took my first martial arts class in 1965. It was judo. Then I went from judo to taekwondo with Moon K. Beck. And then I met Tom Benich in 1970. When I met him, I stayed with him, And I've been training in the same system now. I guess I've been active in the martial arts for 44 years.
And what drew you into the martial arts? What got you started?
People don't believe this, but I had a list of people I was going to beat up. so I started taking the martial arts, But as I trained, I forgot about the list. I just want to train and become better in the martial arts. So I've been doing it all this time.
Now, were these bullies or who?
A couple of them were, yeah. Most of them were, you think about, because I started in high school, and it was a list of bullies. I knew I was going to get them, and I said I'm going to get all of them. But after I started training, it just wasn't there, Back then, survival in the dojo, you got enough fighting. You didn't need to go outside of the dojo and fight anybody,
Right. Now, can you tell us a little more about your style and what it is you teach?
Okay, well, my style is Tang Soo Do, and if we really look at it, it's American Tang Soo Do, because our founder trained directly under Juan Key, who was the founder of Tang Soo Do. He broke away, and he started teaching, himself, and so if you look at the forms that I run versus the Tang Soo Do systems that you see around us, all our forms are Japanese, and they came from the Shotokan system. So we're American. I say Tang Soo Do, but we're Americanized Tang Soo Do.
Now, is that more of a hard style or a soft style?
Yeah, it's a hard style. It's a hard style of martial arts. Yeah. With us being with the forms coming from from Shotokan, it's straight line driving.
Right.
It's very different if you look at other Tang Soo Do people.
Right. Mm-hmm. And can you tell us a little more about what you focus on when you're teaching? Is it more the self-defense aspects, the fighting?
Yeah.
What?
Now I really emphasize the forms, because the self-defense comes out of our forms, Like we teach them, like I'm teaching them the basic form. We teach you the block and punch. Then as you advance, I teach them the moves where you can work the throws that are in kata. A lot of people don't realize there are throws in some of the katas that you do, And so I really emphasize the form, and I emphasize it so much that if they don't have their forms down, they really can't. I don't let them fight until they've got their forms down. Once they got their forms down for their rank, then I'll let them start fighting. But to me, the forms is the most important. It's the foundation of your art,
Right.
And your self-defense comes from there. Like I tell anybody, if you come in our system, you have 16 forms for black belt. If you learn all of the 16 required katas and you learn the schools, wazas, you will have all the self-defense that you'll ever need,
Right.
And that's why I really emphasize the forms.
And now, you did teach in a school before. Now you're doing private teaching.
Lesson, yeah.
You said that you enjoy that more because
Yeah.
it's more engaging.
Yeah, and I'm in more control. Maybe I was, like with the karate school, they come to the school. Sometimes they come, sometimes they wouldn't.
Right.
With me teaching private lessons, they know which days I'm going to be there, and they don't miss class because I show up and we work.
Right.
But one thing I emphasize that with me teaching private like this, one-to-one, all they see is me. So I make them go to tournaments and compete to see other people, And when they go and they win, that makes it much better, But yeah, I have a captive audience, and
Less distractions.
yeah, less distractions. You know, I give them a more. They get a lot more history now. You know, well, one thing, I'm older now, and I've studied more of the history of the arts. You know, and it's working out fine. Yeah, I have, like, right now I have about 15 good students. You know, with my private lessons and stuff like that, and it works out good.
Now, you just recently got your 7th degree.
Well, I got my 7th 2 years ago.
Okay.
But I just got recognized as Grandmaster this month. In fact, it was back 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I was in Indiana, where, you know, they bestowed the title of Grandmaster on me.
That's great. And what are some of the other accomplishments that you've had in your martial arts?
Well, with the martial arts,
career?
I was the national weapons champion in '98. I won the PKC national championship. I was weapons champion. I was runner-up in forms. In the state series, I took 3rd place in fighting, you know, because I competed in all areas of the martial arts, you know. I've been inducted into the World Karate Association Hall of Fame. I've been to the Ohio Black Belt Hall of Fame, you know, so it's been good. You know, it's funny, like, you know, you see some of these people get inducted into Hall of Fame, you think, oh, I wish I could be there. I'll never be there. But then when it happens, boy, it's different, you know. In fact, I got inducted to the International Circle of Masters last year.
And is that what brings you out this year?
Yeah, well, that and meeting the people and, you know, training with the masters, you know, because there are so many people, there's so many different styles, and you can always learn, you know, you can always learn.
What does the martial arts mean to you?
To me, it's a way of life, because at my job, you know, I'm a research technician, but I look at a lot of guys there that are 5 or 6 years younger than me. And I'm an old man, but they are older than me, you know, just by, you know, their physical shape they're in. Right. You know, the martial arts has been good to me. It's kept me in shape, you know. I think if I'd have been heavily into the martial arts when I was in college or in high school, I would have done better in high school, you know, because it gives you that focus, you know, it gives you that confidence, and it's just something that, you know, like right now, my wife will tell you, I work out at least 3 times a week, and I'm 66 years old now, you know, and well, just like in August, after not working out for a long time because I was having trouble with a sciatica, I sat down, and from the month of August, I did 1,500 katas, you know, and it was just something I wanted to do. I would come home I'd be at work thinking about what katas I was going to work on when I got home, you know, because I just want to do it so much.
It keeps you active.
Oh yeah,
it
keeps me active. Yeah,
And what is some of your biggest advice for someone when they're just starting out their journey, whether it's a new student that you have, one of our viewers watching, maybe they're just getting started? What's some of your biggest advice?
Well, you know, with the martial arts being so commercialized now, you know, try to find somebody that's, you know, true to the arts. If you go to a school and he's 24 years old and he's a 6th degree black belt, leave that school.
Right.
You know, it doesn't happen that way. You know, I just find a good school. And like a lot of people, they want to do you know, like they've into this mixed martial arts, which is all well and good, but for a beginner, find the art and stick with that one, you know.
Right.
The system that I'm in, I've stayed with it all these years. You know, I've been to seminars, I've learned other stuff, but I've stayed with my system, you know. And I'm quite happy with it, you know. So people say, well, you got to do this, you got to do this. I said, I'm quite happy with what I'm doing because I know that my self-defense works, you know.
And it works for you.
Yeah, it works for me, yeah. So, yeah, that's what I would tell them, you know, find the art that you like and stick with it, you know.
That's great. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we wrap it up?
No, that's about it, you know, because I could talk for hours, you know, but you don't need me for hours, you know.
All right, well, thank you so much for talking with us.
All right, thank you.
Keep watching, and we'll be right back with more on the Dojo.
Have you ever wanted to be an actor? At Cleveland Academy of Film Acting, anyone can get on the path to a new exciting film career. If you're new to acting, an experienced pro, or somewhere in between, Cleveland Academy is for you. We help place our students in local film projects. Classes are on Wednesday night from 8 to 10 p.m., and your first class is absolutely free. Call 216-323-2393. That's Cleveland Academy of Film Acting.
Admit it. You're the one who killed him. You seduced him, gained his confidence, and then when he wasn't looking, You reached into your purse, and without conscience or remorse, you pulled out a gun and shot him. And cut. Curious? Visit theindygathering.com, a film festival, and so much more.
In today's world, there is an absolute need to know how to protect yourself. But who has the time or money for lengthy training sessions with techniques you may not remember in a time of need, or which can wind up putting you in even more danger? With Escape and Survive, you will learn effective, easy-to-remember techniques for getting out of dangerous situations. No complicated moves, no expensive, time-consuming training. Just common sense self-defense. Book your seminar today at escapeandsurvive.com.
Welcome back. Now we're going to a segment where we've put together numerous clips from the seminars from the Circle of Masters, things that we didn't cover the full, but we've kind of put them together in a collage. So these are the remaining clips from the Circle of Masters, and I hope you enjoy them.
I don't want to work them down here. Okay, here's where I want it, because I want to be able to walk it. Grab the tongue. Notice how I peel these fingers out. So I don't just push here, because now it stops. If I start lifting these fingers, look how much more I can rotate this hand. Okay? Get him up on his toes. Hit him where you want. Okay?
Grab the wrist. Now this is optional, but I always throw in a strike to the wrist. Now let this go around like this. See his pinky is facing up toward the ceiling. I'm going to reach under his thumb. Grab, keep turning. As he turns, I'm going to take off my left hand and put it down. What I'm going to do then is I'm going to take it down to the floor and finish Okay, we'll just go up to the wrist. I'm using one finger. Now notice I grab the wrist, I spin it. So the pinky's up to the ceiling. I have to reach underneath. Once I got him here, I grab here and just pull him back ever so slightly until he slaps. Then, once we go into it again, we'll take him down on the floor.
Be real careful when he swings it, when you're starting out. See how much room you can take. Because I'm pretty flexible in the wrist, but as soon as he grabs that, I'm starting to feel it already. Okay, so
this locks.
There it is.
So I'm here. I'm here. One. Right. Turn it. Notice, his hand is pinky up toward the ceiling. I reach all the way under his thumb. I hold it there. Re-grab with my left. Pull. Okay, so strike.
We had, what were these 5 techniques, or what were these 5 points? Real simple. Ears. 100% of the people that I struck did this. Ah, geez, and they said some explicatives. Sometimes they reach with one hand, sometimes they reach with 2, but I had 100 out of 100 people back up and do this, which is great for me. Next was the eyes, just simple eye gouge. Ah, geez, Notice what I'm doing. Self-defense mechanism is the body. You can't fight it because it's the element of surprise. If I say, here I come, I'm going to stick you in the eye and stick in your eye, maybe you can resist a little bit. But I'm not doing that. I'm not telling you what I'm doing. The third was the nose. We all know what a heel palm to a nose will do. Teach your 3-year-olds breakaway techniques. I don't care how big and strong you are. A 3-year-old can levy enough power with a palm to the nose that it's going to hurt. And every 100% of the people we hit in the nose did this. One of those things. Eyes, ears, nose, throat. Just poke it in the throat. Boom! we gained that technique. And the fifth point on the team was the groin. One of the most effective training techniques or reality techniques that exist. You can be at a party, you can be wherever, and just go pop. Men and women. It will work on ladies too because of the nerves. And we're not going to get into specific anatomy. This is a family dojo. But if you're trained for combat, there is no understanding the, in the backward. And I don't train the family for combat. I'm training the combatants. All right, 5 areas. Eyes, ears, nose, throat, and groin.
Wow. Good. Lap down, circular motion. As I do that, I take a short in-hop space. Come up.
So when someone's coming in,
Strike.
that's what I'm doing. It's nice and natural.
Here, boom.
Slicing the target.
Slide up, elbow. Hook,
Usually
his
his
head,
over here.
pull it this way. Notice his stance,
So
the left foot forward. There's an open space here. And that's where we're going to take it here. The name comes in like this. Pull.
check.
Throw.
Check. Stomach.
One more time without the throw.
Set his blade, pushing it towards him.
Block. Elbow.
We'll start with that. Then we go
Hook. Step behind.
Okay.
Throw.
Here.
I Ching, the book changes, that everything's based on in Bagua, is 3,000 years old. And so eventually groups formed and came up with alliances and realized that they could divine an art that would be able to instantly change as the combat proceeded. It has a lot of different weapons, pretty much a complete art, but it is an internal art as well, just like Tai Chi. The three big ones being Sing Chuan or mind form fist, sometimes called intellectual fist, Tai Chi, and Bagua. And most schools that teach any internal arts teach all three. Water boxing also is an up-and-coming art. It's just as old. It's related to the Taoist, and it's beginning to move around a little bit, but it's not as popular as Tai Chi. Obviously, the most popular of the three. Bagua would be next, and then the third would be Sing Chuan or intellectual fist. So just to give you an idea of what I'm saying when I say Bagua, there are also 8 pictures on there of upper body postures. Those are the postures we're going to try to lead you through a little bit, along with the walking. The walking initially we'll do on the line, then we'll try to get you to go around the circle. When we get done, we've got both of you going to be demonstrating and teaching through some Tai Chi. And so I'll let him take that over as soon as we get far enough along. First of all, this requires 2 things. It requires you to keep your mind open. All the internal arts, Tai Chi included, are very general in nature, on purpose. They allow you to use your own personality and your own body type to achieve a goal, whether it's for actual fighting and self-defense, or whether it's for your own personal health nourishing. We're going to start out, Justin is going to do a little bit of Bagua around. We're going to do a couple of roads around, they're called roads, around one single cone. There's also 8 palaces, which, I'm sorry, 9 palaces, which 9 are set up. Bodyguards just go around the palaces, the pillars in the palace where we were taking care of the emperor or one of the dignitaries that might be staying in the palace. And they would practice at night on the large pillars, pretending they were fighting multiple enemies and using prescribed movements in and out of the 9 palaces. But we're going to just try to get you guys to the point where you can go around one cone. Four people can go around one cone easily, and possibly 6. So we'll spread the cones out, and we can do it with just 2 people if you want to. Okay, Dustin, go ahead. Dustin, go ahead. Justin's been working on this for about 2.5 years. He is a secondary black belt under Grandmasters James, and he used this Bagua form for his first degree black belt. Notice how he's walking around, constantly turning. Got good speed. And we're going to throw another road in there. third more complicated load. Constantly learning to turn. Done on both sides, by the way, so what he's doing there is just one side at a time. Usually they're referred to as steps.
All your power is released by being relaxed, not by being tense. Loose, okay? All right. First, a review, a couple techniques. I didn't invent how to fight with the rope. Somebody did several 100,000 years ago. I just took it and spent many years perfecting it for combat environments. How you carry it is up to you. One of the most effective ways of carrying a rope in places your obi is right around your waist. I'm just going to show you. We're overseas traveling. We don't have any weapons. We need to acquire them. We're out running. We're jogging. I'm going downtown. I have somebody walking down the alleyway after me. I just move it. I'm ready to go. I'm walking to the corner. I need some power, some advantage. I'm turning around. I'm walking away. He reaches for me and grabs my shoulder. I turn. Okay? All kinds of techniques. I'm going to show you a couple of things here. He decides he wants to throw a left and a right. Coming in. Okay? I'm using the power of the cord. I'm using extension to not only deflect, not block, deflect, then engage. Okay? If he punches, I'm in here. I still can punch. My hands are free. Punches. Throws another punch. I can engage and do whatever I can do to stop that. He throws a forward punch, front punch. The cord will engage. Instead of using my body, getting close, I'm using the cord. Punch. The trap inside pain. Okay? There's a variety of ways we can use this to stop. Take bear hugs or full Nelsons. Days in a full Nelson, all the way around. I release the cord. Pain. Put him down.
It's time for a word from our sponsors, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Movie Outline 3, your first step to a successful screenplay. Movie Outline is powerful screenplay development software for both the amateur and the professional screenwriter, which uses the simple technique of step outlining to build your story, characters, and screenplay scene by scene. With Movie Outline, you can easily plan and customize your story structure, color code acts, rearrange scenes, develop and track characters, format your screenplay, and compare your own story to successful Hollywood movies. Movie Outline is the ultimate writer's tool. Visit www.movieoutline.com to download the free demo today.
Welcome back to the Dojo. I'm your host, Grandmaster Ray Such. This next segment is called In the Ring, where I kind of bring up different little hints and techniques to help improve sport fighting, or again, in the ring. In this particular segment, we're going to cover fake attacks, the obvious mental advantage that you have over your opponent when you know you're going to execute a fake and then an attack, having a jump, so to speak, on your opponent. So here's the segment, In the Ring. Enjoy it, practice it, and I hope you use it. Okay, on this segment of In the Ring, we're going to talk about advantages. And really, when you want a free fight to score a point, you want to have any advantage you can have. Actually fighting, blocking, countering, all has to do with mental activity. If I'm standing in front of you and I'm going to throw 3 kicks in a row, before I move, I know it. My opponent doesn't know it. His brain has to figure out what is coming first, how to block it, what's coming next, how to block it. So without hesitations and pausing, I should be able to score. If I want a better advantage, I use a fake attack. That's fake and attack. For instance, if my opponent was here and I crept up on him and I fake a back fist to his head, I want to draw this guard up. So if I'm back fisting, he's blocking high. Okay? Without a pause and percent, meaning that when I'm going for the back fist, I'm actually beginning the reverse punch underneath. So about 70% of the back fist is the beginning of the punch, giving him no opportunity to figure out what I'm doing. Mentally, he knew I was back fisting, so he committed his block to a back fist block. Okay? So, a little bit like this, once the hand draws up, the hand comes underneath. Again, once the hand comes up, the hand comes underneath. So it's kind of like 2 hands, one a little more obvious than the other, and then your attack in. Easy to get a point. Actually, I know a black belt that went on to win a lot of tournaments with completely that. And if the person did not block, he'd get the back fist anyway. So you can commit the back fist. Commit it. In other words, if he doesn't block it, you get the point. So after you, but again, right about here is where the hand is going for a quick jab. And a jab is actually a little quicker than a full reverse punch. So you just boom, get the jab. Another example of the fake and attack. Change your stance. Some people call it a flip kick, but really you want to make it a phony kick and a roundhouse. Which I mean is, before he does it, he wants to commit 70% of a roundhouse to my stomach. Normally, someone will drop their guard right here, drop their guard, automatically have a nice block, and score with their lead hand. Here's the neutral, here's the block. The roundhouse is coming 75% to 80% in, withdraws and snaps up. You commit him low and you go high. And even if he tries to get up, he's usually underneath the leg. So, let's just do it in slow motion. He gives me 75% of the kick, and just before it touches, he flips up for the second kick. Again, he brings it around, boom, boom. The one thing that can cause it not to work is a pause. Do that, boom, boom. Soon as you get there, you're recoiling it for the little snap. Again, go. There you go. A speed snap kick. You got to get him to draw his hand low, because if you don't, this is never going to come into score, and he's going to pop up here for a high block. Again, fake and attack are one of the best things to do. Not always, but it's in your bag of tricks. So if maybe possibly you've been fighting well, you've been changing your technique from fight to fight, which is always a plus, so people don't watch you and know your particular moves. And you didn't use the fake an attack and change back again. And here it goes, you know, scores tied, 2-2, they bow, fighting stance, ready, and you go up and you go under. And you fake, boom, get your point, get out of the ring. And that's it for In the Ring today. And, you know, we'll have more technique as we go on other shows. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Are you a filmmaker looking for the location of your next project? Contact the North Coast Film Commission. With small cities throughout Ohio, we're here to help with your film, television, and commercial productions. With low to no cost permits and locations, we'll help stretch your budget. From our production resources to our talent database, we will show you just what the North Coast has to offer. Visit northcoastfilmcommission.com today.
This August, come to the film festival where East meets West.
It's an incredible showcase of over 75 films from around the world.
And it's more than just a film festival.
It's a place where filmmakers can gather together with the audience
for one amazing weekend
to celebrate the power,
the drama, the joy,
the magic of independent film.
The Indie Gathering International Film Festival.
It's so much more than you ever imagined.
Cleveland Academy for Self-Defense is Northeast Ohio's premier martial arts school. Located on Cleveland's near west side, we teach several martial arts disciplines, specializing in Taekwondo and Hapkido. As taught by Master Ray Such, students of Cleveland Academy learn discipline, formal martial arts training, and real-world self-defense techniques. Classes are available for children and adults. Cleveland Academy for Self-Defense, the home of champions.
In our next segment, we're going to have an interview with Master Gene Madry from Karate Institute. They teach Kaji Kempo. If you're not familiar with it, it's a blend, a Hawaiian as well as other karates and that. Gene Correlia from Cleveland, Ohio is one of the old-time martial artists. And Karate Institute all stem from Gene. And here's Gene Madry's interview.
This is Christina Michelle with the Dojo, and right now we're here at the International Circle of Masters. And I'm talking with Gene Madry of the Cleveland Karate Institute. Thanks for joining us, Gene.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
So if you want to just start off by telling us what your style is and a little more about it, if it's a hard style, a soft style.
Our style is called Kaju Kempo. Okay, it's a mixed martial arts per se, or the first generation of that. We have a little jiu-jitsu, judo. Obviously, our style bases off of Shotokan Ishinryu group. Okay, so it's basically a hard style. It was developed by Gene Correlia back in the late 60s when he was actually teaching out of Chicago. So he developed a system which he felt was more effective than what we've seen in the past. So.
And how long have you been running your studio?
I took over back in 1987. We were on a little small corner, and right now we're close to the suburbs. So.
1987, and how long ago was it started?
We started the Kaju Kempo system back in the late 60s, around 67, 68. Gene Correlia actually opened up a studio in Cleveland, one of the first and oldest dojo in the city, so I kind of took over that situation.
That's great. And you teach children and adults, or
yes,
what
I do.
Age range?
We start from the 4 to 6-year-old, which is the little warriors, and basically what we teach them is just coordination drills, you know. it's hard to teach a child martial arts because of their maturity level. So we try to teach them coordination as far as how to punch, how to kick, punch through hoops, things of that nature. When they become 6 years old, then we advance them into what they call the Little or Junior Warriors program, which basically is a traditional martial arts class. Now we teach them basic martial arts, which is, self-defense, basic boxing, kicks.
And what about yourself? What rank are you, and how did you get into the
promoted
martial
me.
arts?
David Prane was actually a partner of Al Jean, so our organization was called Karate Institute of America. David Prane, which is the Tuntaro group out of Detroit area, and Al Jean Corelli was basically working together, developing a systematic of martial arts. They were still together until about around the 90s, where they kind of split up and did their own thing. We invited Mr. Prame back in the late 90s, and he started joining our organization again. And between him and Al Jean, they elevated me to the 8th degree, which was Grandmaster of our organization.
And how long have you been in the martial arts?
Since 1973, when I left the service, I started getting into the martial arts a little bit.
And you've always studied this style?
Always studied style, yes.
So what, for the martial arts, what drew you into it? Was it, the discipline? Was it looking to protect yourself?
I was a Vietnam veteran, okay? And when I finished my term, I needed to do something just to get activated, to get motivated. Fortunately, one of my friends who was in the Taekwondo system talked about being in the martial arts. So I was looking through the papers, and I wasn't living too far from Al Jean Corelli's studio. So I decided to join him, and I got interested. I was a very competitive person when I was in high school. I was still competitive when I got into the martial arts. So it grabbed my aura, and I decided to work with it.
And with your studio, what are some of your focuses with your students? Is it the self-defense aspects? Is it tournaments? What do you focus on?
I focus on not basically tournaments, but self-being. I try to work with their self-discipline, prove that they can do it. A lot of times, you get to a certain level, I can't do it anymore. And I try to push them beyond that. So it's more of a self-discipline type situation. Yeah, we go to tournaments, and yeah, we do a lot of self-defense, which is a lot of martial arts do, but I try to go beyond that, which is self-improvement or self-discipline.
And what is your biggest piece of advice when a student is first starting? Some people are a little hesitant to get into the martial arts. What would you say to, push them along when they're first starting out?
Well, when they first start out, they don't realize you have to work at it, okay? It just doesn't come. They see movies of Bruce Lee and all the martial arts movie out there that you see, Van Damme, and they feel that, you turn the switch on, it's there. Well, they don't realize that these people really worked at it to develop their skill level. And after a while, when I tell these people that you have to work at it, it actually becomes part of you. A situation where you don't even have to think about doing a self-defense technique or doing a technique at all, it just happens. And that's where the level you want to be at, but to get there, you have to work at it as hard as you can. So at times, you get frustrated and you want to quit. Well, I try to, encourage them to stay with it, because it will happen.
And you've been in the martial arts for a while now, and
40 years,
teaching for a number of years. What does the martial arts mean to you?
It's a lifestyle. It's basically nothing more than self-improvement, and you walk into a situation with an open mind now, which was tough to do back in the early days, and you try to alleviate, or at least not alleviate, but look at a situation a little bit differently, at least from their side of point of view, so you get an idea of what they're thinking about. So I kind of changed the way I think a little bit as far as getting into a situation.
Right. And as far as, like you were talking about discipline before, and that's a big focus with your students. So what is a class typically like at your school?
Okay, depending if it's a novice class or advanced class, we always go through a warm-up. Obviously, we want to warm up to get their adrenaline going. And I also teach instructors how to teach also. So what I try to do is have the instructor to take control of the class. If you relieve that part of the class, then they start to get into another environment. And you want to start building up that environment so you can actually have fun with the class. At the same token, you're teaching them something. So that's what I try to achieve out of that class, or at least my instructors do.
So you want a balance between the strictness and fun.
Exactly, and you see there's a time and a place for everything, like Mom and Dad always said.
Right. How many instructors are at your school right now?
I got 1, 2, 3, about 4 or 5 instructors right now. I have one to go to college, so.
Now, is there any website or anywhere online that
Yes,
our viewers can find
we are
out
at the
about?
clevelandki.com. So.
All right, great. Is there anything else you'd like to add to tell us about yourself or your style, your school?
The school, like I said, the school's been around since basically in '69, but I've taken over in '87. The growth pattern, just like any other school, will go up and go down because of economics. People can afford to do certain things. But the whole idea is, we always work with that. And if you get into the martial arts, try to finish what you start. That's what I always try to tell our people. So you don't quit in the middle of a series that you're trying to develop. And for myself, I've achieved a lot of, goals. Received a lot of awards, from the organizations and whatnot. So that to me is a self-accomplishment. Other than that, all I can say is keep trucking.
So your biggest piece of advice would be don't give up?
Don't give up, please.
All right, that's great. Well, thank you so much for
Well, thank you for having me. Okay?
Keep watching, and we'll be right back with more on the dojo.
Cool, thank you.
You two have disrupted my classroom for the last time.
What are you gonna do about it? Spank us?
She can't spank us. It's against the law.
Spanking would be too easy. I want to cause more permanent damage.
And cut. Curious? Visit theindygathering.com, a film festival, and so much more.
Now we're going to go to one of our favorite things, and one of my favorite things, and that is a minute of self-defense with Christina Michelle, a black belt in Taekwondo. She's going to show you how to handle a particular technique of a straight across grab. When we train, techniques can vary. So we have what is called a straight across grab, or we have a crisscross grab. And many times they're different techniques. In this minute of self-defense, Christina is going to handle a straight across grab assault. Take it away, Christina.
Hi, I'm Christina Michelle. This is common sense self-defense. And using your common sense, your freedom is the first issue. The first thing you're going to do is stiffen your arm and open your hand. Second, you are going to swing your arm around his in a small circular motion, bringing your arm in front of you as if looking at your watch. Third, Place your hand directly over the attacker's, matching your fingers with his and keeping the thumb locked underneath. The last thing you are going to do is roll into his wrist tightly, which will drive his body down. We are not viciously attacking, kicking, striking, causing a fight back. So what you do is execute the technique, obtain your freedom, and flee, and get help.
Well, that's about what we have on tape today. What I want to talk about for the last minute is competition, and especially the children. You know, one thing in competition, no matter who you are, is confidence. And confidence is something that grows. You know, you may have a new student that goes into competition and lose. What you have to get the student to do is their very best. And if they do their very best, they're a winner. They have to understand that no matter who you are in sport competition, there's always someone that's going to get the better of you in competition. Sometimes it's by pure luck, sometimes it's by skill. But confidence is built by knowing you're doing your best and working to improve that. You're going to see some things from the King Cobra from Erie, Pennsylvania, their open karate tournament, where you're going to see differences between 3-point fighting and 1-point fighting. And that'll be coming up on our next. If you have an event, or your school is going to an event and you happen to know about it, please contact us. Email us, let us know about the event. We'd love to cover it, interview the instructors, tape the competition. So let us know about it. And that's it for our show. Stay tuned. Make sure you come back for the next episode, and we'll see you then. Keep kicking.